Writing daily. I can't even get the title out. This is Devin. We are talking about episode 93. We're going to be talking a little bit about book tours and more about the alternatives to which in a moment. For those who don't know, my name is Devin Galaudet. I am the editor-in-chief of In the Know Traveler, as well as the author of the forthcoming 10,000 Miles with My Dead Father's Ashes. I waited until the late afternoon, early evening to get this party started. Normally I try to shoot for around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't make it. This writing daily thing is, it's a chore, but I am game. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me today. Welcome, Robert. And so here's what's happening. I spent the last couple days putting together. Oh, and by the way, if you're new here, please consider hitting the like button. That makes my day brighter. It lets me know that I am on the right track. Denny, welcome. And so anyway, I'm putting together a book tour. And the book tour thing is kind of horrifying, to be quite honest with you. I was writing, and I had these grand things. I'm going to do this thing up the coast. I'm going up to Portland. I'm going to do Austin, where I was going to be anyway. So, of course, I'll do some book signings there, and Chicago, and as well as Michigan. And I'm hoping as well to do Toronto, New York, right? And so my publisher sort of wrote back, I think in probably the kindest way that they could, is that, for a bookstore to do something like that, you have to you can't guarantee people to show up, but you need to be able to bring a crowd. Otherwise, why are they doing it, right? And I hate that response, especially when, I've thrown parties and most people don't show up. So what does that tell you? It tells you that, how do you take this information? What do you do with this information? How do you support your own vision? But honestly, like an hour ago, I needed to be kind of like talked out of the trees for a second. Caitlin, good to see you. Good evening to you too. I hope you are writing and life is treating you kindly. So getting back to this idea of, I was raised in an environment, I'm like a very middle-aged guy. I was raised in an environment where what you do is, if you want to write a book, you put together something. You put together some sort of a tour so people can find you. Denny, you are always invited. Even if I didn't invite you, you're always invited. So the idea is that that's what a successful author does. A successful author puts together a book tour, and then you go on tour. And so while I was being talked out of the trees by a fellow writer, matter of fact, a really great guy, David Rockland, who I've interviewed on this show before, he was kind enough to point out that really what we're doing mostly is we're doing literary readings more so. Thank you for the thumbs up, and good to see you, Giro. And so what we do is we start working with the social media construct. In other words, we can reach a lot more people. He was quick to point out that really, like, yes, this is a victory lap. Like, you want to do it because we're a certain age and it makes sense to do it. But I think for the most part, this is like stuff that book publishers like, yes, Stephen King will fill a house. I probably won't. But what that does mean is that there is opportunities. I just have to create more opportunities by doing things on radio, on podcasts, which obviously this is part of that whole thing. And I think that I kind of have to leave it at that. Now, that said, I am absolutely going to do something in Long Beach. I'm absolutely going to do something in Los Angeles. I'm going to try to see what I can put together in the San Francisco, the Bay Area, and see what I can do in the Sacramento area, because I think those are places where I might know enough people where it might actually be like a real event, and I don't have to hang out some poor bookstore to dry, so to speak. And then I'm going to look for opportunities to do literary reading. So I guess what I'm really saying is I'm not going to keep, just because I was not happy with the response that I was getting, I kind of have to take myself, like I'm a nut. That's kind of what this is all about to some degree, right? Like, we get a better handle on who it is that we are and what it is that we can conceivably do. Now, That said, if all of a sudden, I get some huge fan base in a particular area in the country, then I'll explore that possibility. But I think what I have to do is kind of put a hold on things for a second. Like, I think probably what will really happen is I will go in Chicago. That's going to be a done deal because I have a lot of family there, and my sister has a store, and she's like, if you don't come, I'm gonna murder you. So I owe my sister a visit. And so we're going to do something probably fun and maybe a little bit makeshift in her store outside of Chicago. And I'll see if I can go into a bookstore and if they're carrying my books, I will sign them and nobody has to witness that. But I guess really what this is all about for today is kind of putting what your plans and aspirations are in perspective. Like, I think it's important to kind of map out a giant book tour in your brain. And then at the same time, you have to start getting into the idea of it may not be exactly what it is that you have planned, but there's plan Bs along the way. It's funny. There's a podcast that I'm looking to be on. And so, matter of fact, just a quick story is that there was this woman, Denise, that I wanted to be on her podcast. And so I made a podcast just for her. And I talked to her directly and I read a page of my book and it was a lot of fun. And I never heard from her until I did hear from her. Like a month later, she goes, oh my gosh, yes, let's do this. And so we had put together a date and a time. And then it couldn't happen. Like, the technology is not quite there to do it the way that we wanted to do it. And then it got pushed, and then we waited another week, and then I wrote her again today, and then I'm leaving town, and then she's leaving town. And so I think it's going to be a July 7th thing or a June 7th thing. So I'm going to promote it on here and say to come watch this thing that I'm doing with Denise, where we're finally, after like connecting for the last 2 months, that it's actually going to come to play. So anyway, I think that's what I've got today. If you like what I'm doing, please make sure that you hit the like button. I'm grateful for that. That's a helpful thing. I'm also, what else am I doing? I think that's probably the main thing. Bruce, welcome. Morgana, welcome as well. And so life is good here, and we're going to keep writing. And so that's the thing. Like, I guess what this episode is really about is that we have challenges, and then we try to, as quickly as possible. Like, funny thing is, I might have spent a week worrying about and fretting over the stuff that I kind of had quelled in about 20 minutes. And the quelling worked because I talked to other people about it, people who know a little bit more about it than me. So I know to not take these kinds of things personally. So I'm going to have my book tour, but it won't sound like a book tour. It'll probably be some literary readings and some makeshift events, and we're going to have fun, and maybe it'll be coming to an area near you, and I will let you know. So until then, keep writing, be kind to yourselves, do the best you can, and Bruce, thank you. You have a good evening as well. I'll talk to you guys again. Before I go, I am going to be leaving town tomorrow, so I may do some things. I'm just going away for a few days, but I'm going to try and do something. Maybe I'll do a podcast while I'm driving. Is that illegal? I don't know if I can do that. Maybe I'll do that. It's hard to say. But I'm going to be doing a fair amount of driving tomorrow. As always, you can find me on iTunes, so you can subscribe, so you don't have to kind of catch up with all of my neurotic tendencies in terms of consistency. But, keep doing it. Show up. Or let me rephrase that. I'm going to do my best to do something over the next couple of days while I'm out of town. So we'll do something remote, and we'll have fun, and we're going to talk about writing, because writing continues whether we're traveling or not. So I'm going to keep writing daily. That's my commitment to you. And you guys are terrific. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, ask questions. And whether you see me on YouTube or iTunes or any of those kinds of things, always drop me a message. I love to hear from you. And by the way, free giveaway happening at devingallaudet.com/dad for free books. So thanks. That's what I got. And Kim, have a great day. And thank you all for being here today. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow.